Alright, today we're going to talk about making precast parking garages in Revit. We have two options that we usually deal with, and that is making structural framing out of double T's, which takes a lot of time because you have to make sure they're all on a reference plane and they're all angled the right way, and when you're in plan you'll see this line here most of the time unless you do some fancy stuff with the family. Then there's the problem that this parking stripe family does not show up as well. It doesn't stick to this family, or you'll end up with a million different hosts. So that poses a problem. The other problem we run into is, when we don't want to take the amount of time to do that in schematic design, we will just do a big slab, like 26-inch parking deck, and that doesn't look good because it often looks the same as the elements and elevation, or it just looks like two lines and it's confusing. So the way around that is to go ahead and do a floor, but make it a structural floor that has the T's built into it. Now the span on this one is the wrong way, so let me do this one. Here's a floor, and I made a floor called Precast T. So when you draw the floor, it automatically draws the T's for you, and you don't have to worry about laying them out. You just draw the profile of the floor. Now when this floor was drawn, they didn't put the span direction in there correctly, so I'm just going to go and change the span direction, and then you'll see the double T's. See the span direction here? I'm just going to change it, and then the section is going to show up correctly. But all you have to do to get this is draw the profile. When you do these, if you have a T that cuts through, say part of this T is cut like a foot short, you have to make a whole new family. When you do this, you can host parking stripes to it. The T's show up right away, and you can have a gap that shows the spacing of the T's. Now when you make this, you need to start with a structural floor, and you have to have two profiles in here, one for the topping thickness, which is like this top 2 inches, and one for the structural deck. A structural deck profile is different than a regular profile that you make when you're making a wall sweep or a fascia or a slab edge. So you have to create this, and it's a single line. It's not a closed profile like regular profiles. And this thickness is measured from the bottom of this to whatever your top is. I'm going to show you the family now. So this is made up from this decking profile here, and as you can see, it's a single line. So I created this, and it's got variable web spacing, so most of the time we're pretty diagrammatic, but if you really want to have the T's shown 4 feet apart or 3 feet apart, 5 feet apart, whatever, that's okay. Like, I think I should be at 4 feet here, and then oops, I need to add the overall depth. Then you'll just have your parameter for the overall depth. And all your parameters need to be by type in order for this to work here. So this can save you a lot of time from having to try to model all the T's and everything, because I wanted to try to at least show somewhat what this was going to look like. Let's see if my family worked. These are the T's from the structural model, so I'm going to try to take our parking garage floor and change it. Okay, see, the span was done the wrong direction. This is a good way to check and make sure you got your spans done correctly. Here we go. So I'm going to change the span. then, okay, so here we are. Let me see if I can get this to 34 inches. Let's see what happens when I do this. Okay, so that topping is too thick. So what I need to do is go to this decking profile and make one that's 34 inches. So the overall depth is 34 inches. So let me go over here. These are not used. Let me delete these. Okay, so my decking profile, I'm going to duplicate this and make it 34 inches. Go to the type properties, and hopefully my overall depth is 34 inches. And go back to the floor here. Oops, I need to change this to the 34-inch one. So that's 34. This one I picked the 34-inch version. Let's hope it works. There it goes. Okay, so that's what the structural model has. Now, the beautiful thing is, it's gonna fill my exact profile that I draw for my floor. So there's no problem. And that's that. This is my test one here. So up here, this one is also 34 Precast T, 34 inches, and the span was the wrong way. So I'm gonna change that. Let's change my span direction. Close that up. Now I've got the 30. I got this correct here. So anyway, I'm gonna get rid of all these T's, and then you got yourself a nice schematic. Really, for us, we can use it all the way up through construction documents for the structural T's. So I'm gonna get rid of all these. And then with these, you can still put your slope arrows and everything on them. So I'm going to change this to 20 inches deep. All right, there you go.